Hi, this is Nancy with Peace Coaching Worldwide. Thanks for stopping by today. I thought I would talk a little bit today about phrases when I hear them coming from the world, my clients, myself, even. Phrases that get stuck in my ears. And I know that I'm falling headlong into a trap, certainly when I say them. And I know that I need to pay attention when my clients are saying them, because they are essentially exhibiting a place where stuckness or pain and suffering or even trauma can occur around these kinds of phrases. And they can even be mythical beliefs, but things that are very mainstream, understood. Interesting, it's raining. um, that, yeah, we're having some weather here today. Some phrases that get stuck in my ears. The first one would be any phrasing that starts with I should, I shouldn't, you should, you shouldn't. That word should. What should we do? Right? We think we're aiming for some kind of a gold standard, the things that we know we believe in our ethics and in our morals and in our values that we would like to be able to accomplish. It's just we're just straight up not that good at it. Myself absolutely 100% included. And so the idea of should or shouldn't, when I think of that in terms of internal family systems and parts work, which is something that I use quite a bit actually in my coaching practice, it is the idea that I should do something. That's a manager part. So a manager part, for those of you who are not versed in internal family systems kinds of techniques, a manager part is a part that grabs the microphone in my head and tries to keep me on the straight and narrow. They try to keep me from getting hurt or from hurting others. And so it's a great part to have on board because it's actually very useful and helpful for us to not get into trouble. And so that language of saying you should or you shouldn't. If you were to have a stranger come up to you and say, you know what, I know what you need to do. I think you should do this. It might seem, even in the moment, if we're really struggling, that might be something that would be helpful or trying to help, but it actually triggers resistance inside of us because we're actually grown people and we don't like being told what we should or shouldn't do. It's very kind of finger waggy and kind of at worst, I might use the word something like bossy. And so we don't like it when other people do it to us. And we don't like it when we do it to ourselves either. When that manager part grabs the microphone and says, you know what, I should go to the gym today. I've simultaneously got another part in the background saying, but I really don't want to. And maybe I won't. And so using that kind of language. And so what I have people say instead of should or shouldn't, and this also works for the phrases I have to, or I need to, or you have to and you need to. It pokes the exact same defenses and responses and reactions inside of us and inside of others when we say that. And so what we're trying to elicit or change that to in order to stop that resistance from coming up, usually even subconsciously, but maybe consciously as well. I have people change that word, just that one word, should or need or have to I choose to, or I get to, or I want to. And so it might be something as simple as, yeah, I have to go to work today. Okay, but you don't actually have to go to work today. You might get fired if you don't, or you might not get paid if you don't, and not have enough money for your bills, and et cetera, et cetera. But you do actually still have a choice. Even if someone was holding a gun to your head, you would still have a choice of how you're going to respond to that. And so that idea of I have a choice here, it might, people will argue with me and they'll say, no, I didn't have a choice in that situation. I had to do that, or my child would suffer, or I had to do that, or I would be homeless, etc. You still have a choice. You might not like your choice, but you still have one. And so being able to pay attention to that internal language of what am I telling myself? Am I telling myself should, shouldn't, need to, have to, etc., instead of choose to, want to, etc.? There's a big difference in how the resistance inside of myself or others responds when I use that different language. It's a very simple, very subtle kind of a thing, but it actually is much more influential on your own personal mood to be able to recognize that that word choice is actually super important, and it doesn't trigger that thing inside of me that wants to essentially resist it, or like basically flip somebody off. So just food for thought in terms of things that get stuck in my ears when I'm thinking about when I need to talk with someone about that, because there might be triggering something inadvertently inside of themselves or others when they're using that kind of language. There's actually two more that I will throw in here as food for thought as well. The first one is the phrase, you make me feel. And so actually we cannot make anyone feel any more than we can make them pee. So we can influence them to need to go to the restroom. We can take 2 cups of water and pour them back and forth. Hey, you got to go pee. Or we can say, oh, well, let's just stick your hand in some warm water and we'll see if you've got to pee. But I can't crawl inside of your body, control your muscles, and make you go. And so the idea that people can make us feel, no, I'm choosing how I'm responding. I'm choosing how I'm feeling in that situation. Or I can learn to develop the skills and the ability to talk myself through it and tell myself a different story so that other people aren't making me feel. I'm back to kind of that choice, right? I'm choosing to feel, I'm choosing to respond this way. It's a pain in the tush because it's so much easier to blame other people, which brings me to my last one, which is it's your fault. Any idea or any a notion of blame, right? And so when I'm trying to figure out whose fault something is, it's kind of in the same vein of you make me feel, it's your fault that I feel angry, etc. Those are actually things that steal our peace and flush it down the toilet. And so how can I change the wording? No, I feel in this situation, and you might have had some influence on that, yes, but I can control how I respond. I can control what story do I tell myself in this situation in order to elicit different feelings and different responses. And so there's a level of self accountability and humility that occurs with being able to look at it that way. And it's a pain in the tush because it's so much easier to blame, like I said, but it is actually the way out of the briar patch of lots and lots and lots of fights and conflict and things like that, relationship damage, etc. And so being able to humbly say, no, I'm choosing to respond this way. I'm choosing to go to the gym. I don't need to, want to, have to, or need to, have to, or should. I want to. I'm going to choose to. And I get to. And I get to choose how I respond to people. They don't make me feel. And the phrase that I use for this is all blame is a waste of time. Not just blaming others, but blaming ourselves as well. Blame is just you looking for a place to park my anxiety. And so whose fault is it? And if it's not mine, then I can park my anxiety on whoever's fault it is. And so that in the process damaging the relationship. And so blame and that the construct of blame is actually a waste of time at best. And at worst, it causes significant relationship damage. So food for thought for today. So thanks so much for stopping by. I'd be happy to check out your comments below. Let me know what you think. And if there's anything that you'd like me to cover or talk about, I'd be happy to do so. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye-bye.